Good evening, I'm Reid Lehman, and I've served as president of Miracle Hill since 1985. We're blessed to have each of you here. Thank you for joining us. I want to call some names and ask some individuals to stand, and please hold your applause until everyone is standing. This year marked 10 years of service for our longtime Chief Financial Officer, Bruce Evashevsky. Bruce, if you'll stand, Bruce is retired, and he and his bride, Joni, are going to be joining their grandchildren in Colorado soon. Thank you, Bruce, for your faithful service that brought tremendous financial stability. Bruce's retirement brought a restructuring of our leadership, adding Larry Bateman as Chief Operating Officer. Larry, it's so good to have you. You've lifted a great deal of my load. Larry's wife, BJ, heads the Upstate Ministry of Child Evangelism Fellowship. And Larry has added Wayne Copeland as the new Chief Financial Officer. Other members of our team include Ken Kelly, who leads Adult Ministries, Stephen Halbert, leading Children's Ministries, and Frankie Powell over Communication and Development. We have a godly, effective governing board led this year by Dixon Cunningham. I wonder if the board and all those whose names I've called, if you'd stand and let's just recognize you. Thank you. Crossway Bookstore has been very kind to work with us as a sponsor of this event and helping us with some books available in the lobby. First, we have Same Kind of Different as Me, and Ron Hall will be available to greet you and to sign books for at least an hour after the event. Please be aware that we also have two other important books out there. A Hole in Our Gospel by Richard Stearns provides a powerful argument that each child of God has a personal responsibility for those in need, and that churchgoers in the United States often fail to live up to that need. A third book, When Helping Hurts, provides a framework to think about the most effective ways to bless those who are in poverty, so that when you set out to help, you really help, rather than keeping people trapped in defeating behaviors. If tonight's message speaks to your heart, these books will move you further into the changes that God is calling you to make. Miracle Hill provides a conduit by which those of you who care can provide for the most needy of our upstate communities. Here's an illustration from the book When Helping Hurts that I mentioned, and it talks about relief, rehabilitation, and development. Relief is the urgent and temporary provision of emergency aid to relieve immediate suffering. The Red Cross here in the upstate provides relief very well for mass victims of natural crises. We provide relief well for man-made and personal crises in the lives of individuals and families. Rehabilitation seeks to restore people to the positive elements of their pre-crisis condition, and we help men and women find housing, secure medical care to restore health, move them back into jobs, and reunite families. And then development is a process of ongoing change that moves all the people involved, the helpers and the helped, closer to being in right relationship with God, with self, with others, and the rest of creation. Development is empowering, in which the helpers and the helped become more of what God created them to be. For relief, we provide groceries to 125 families each week. We feed all who come to our shelters, and we share hundreds of thousands of pounds of food annually with other ministries. Here in Greenville, we offer emergency shelter for men and women, families, and women with children. Nearly every shelter bed is full every night, and on cold nights we turn none away. Some nights 100 more people stay with us than we have beds to put them in. All of our shelters help rehabilitate. Those who are ready go back to work. Those physically sick gain access to the medical care they need for healing. Those estranged from their families receive counseling. And we teach healthy family principles. We help Christians who've lost their way find forgiveness. And last year, at least 165 people restored their relationship with God. And we foster development. We share the love of God and introduce those who are lost and hurting to God And last year, 230 people, maybe more, that's the ones we know about, began a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. We cooperate with God as he sets the lonely in families, and we help build new families. Addicted men and women find healing through our adult recovery programs. Young people in our care go on to develop new skills, complete high school. Many go on to college, and many return to the families they left, only under healthier conditions. And some, 11 children last year, were adopted into loving Christian homes. Our boys' shelter, located on Wade Hampton Boulevard, provides temporary shelter for boys ages 11 through 18. With your help, we operate Miracle Hill Children's Home just north of Greenville, providing temporary shelter for younger children and 3 cottages for the extended care of these teenage boys. We offer foster care for boys and girls with 50 licensed foster families and many more that are needed. There are foster care brochures available for those who may be interested. Every day, more than 100 children are in our care of our children's ministries. Our rescue mission on Washington Street provides 100 emergency shelter beds and a 60-bed addiction recovery program called Overcomers. There are 5 family apartments. Each evening, those who are hungry can come to the mission for food, whether staying with us or not. Shepherd's Gate on North Pleasantburg Drive provides emergency shelter for 48 women and children and offers a 14-bed growth program for women who need structure. And for those who need more structure, the Renewal Program, located at the end of North Main Street, offers Christian addiction recovery to 21 women daily. Volunteer mentors provide accountability and encouragement to our graduates to help them succeed in that critical first year out. More than 12 homes in the community provide transitional housing for those who are employed. Here's a graphic that shows the progression that our adults go through as they go through the programs that we can offer there at Miracle Hill. We offer relief, rehabilitation, development, and finally self-sufficiency. We offer that for men. We offer that for women. We also offer that for children, as we offer that emergency shelter, that long-term care or foster care, and then as we help move them to self-sufficiency. And while we still have some work to do in the transitional housing for children that age out, we're able to move so many children back into much healthier homes. Many of you know we also shelter men, women, and children in our shelters in Spartanburg and Gaffney. All of our programs are effective. There's a stereotype that homeless people stay homeless. And some do remain trapped, but there are so many who land gently on the safety net that we can provide. They spring quickly back to work, to productive living, and rebuilding their families. Those who enter our addiction recovery programs have typically lost everything. We measure success by how they're doing the year after they graduate, and according to last year's measurements, more than 3/4 of those graduates are sober, productive, and living in victory. Some priorities we have ahead of us right now. One is that we want to complete and occupy the Overcomers Addiction Recovery Center. It's been co-located at the rescue mission for a number of years. We've taken over the monastery of Poor Clare on Pleasantburg Drive. The nuns have moved to a new location up near Tigerville. And construction on this renovation on this facility will be done at the end of May. But we still need about $600,000 before we can say that we've paid for it, we've furnished it, and we have the first year's operations. And after several years of working and praying on this, all of us on staff, and I know especially those who need those services, are so ready for that to be done. And I hope you'll pray with us that God will let us finish the fundraising for that soon. As the men move out of the mission into this new Overcomer Center, we'll have some bathroom renovations and some work to do at the Greenville Rescue Mission to be able to expand our emergency shelter beds there. We're in the middle of building an elevator at Shepherd's Gate. Since 1993, we've told the community we want the women who are most in need, except those who are in wheelchairs and on crutches. We don't want them because we have 3 different floors. And God has provided an elevator, and we hope to have that in and operational sometime during the month of June. And then we do want to continue working with the foster families. We've got 50 foster families now. We're looking for another 50. And if God is stirring your heart to maybe find your own Denver, to find someone that he will use you to help transform and who will transform you, having a child living in your home is an amazing place to start. We also want to continue expanding our transitional housing program so that when people leave our shelters, there's somewhere they can go other than a cheap motel where the temptations are so strong about what used to hold them back. As you look at the chart in front of you, that's a graph of our beds available each night over the past several years. Today, we have 569 beds available each night for those in need. By the end of this year, that number will climb to over 600. And it's not because we have an epidemic. It's because Greenville and the upstate are more effectively served by Christians in the upstate who care than almost any other area of our state. If God allows further expansion down the road, it probably will not be in Greenville, but we'll look for other unserved areas in other communities where people are suffering. But what we do find is that even our business climate is healthier because those who are homeless don't stay that way. They move quickly back into outside jobs. On those cold nights in January, when I would take my Labradors out to go to the restroom one last time before we went to bed each night, I was able to look up in the sky and thank God that nobody had to sleep outside in the upstate because there was nowhere for them to go. That with your help, there is a spot, even if it's a place on the floor, for everybody who wants to get in out of the cold. I think you know, as well as me, that state and federal dollars in the future will drastically change as belts begin tightening in every area. Our beds are not provided through government funding, and our services, though, will be even more needed as some of the social spending, some of the government spending on social services begins to go away. Well, how can you help? We're going to talk more about that at the end, but let me just mention a couple of things. You can give. We'll invite you to give later this evening or to make a pledge. The New Overcomer Center is ready to serve. We just need a few more dollars to get the doors open. You can volunteer, and there's many different ways in which you can volunteer. You can serve as a foster parent or a mentor for one of our graduates. You can help by giving to and patronizing our Miracle Hill thrift stores. We have one in Easley, 3 in Greenville, including a new one in Berea, and one in Malden, and one in Greer. And instead of trying to sell your old car, why don't you give it to Miracle Hill? We can get more for it than you can, and you'll be investing in the lives of others.